Cool. Can everybody hear me clearly?
Yes.
Good. That's very important. Good. I want to start out by thanking everyone for attending tonight and thanking everyone for doing what was necessary in order to even allow me this opportunity to be here. So, y'all mind if I start out speaking for y'all? Yeah. Y'all some bars? Check it out. I need another title. I'm no longer a rapper. I'm a rhyming revolutionary, authoring chapters. In this book we call life, here to give you instructions on fighting self-destruction over beautiful production. I don't fit in. I don't drink, smoke, or pop pills. Look, I don't even curse up in my music, but it's hot still. I'm all in the hood and I ain't even strapped. Simba, burrito, you're lying in your raps. Sometimes I be sad, I be crying in my raps. Wrote this on a plane, I be flying in my raps. Boy, I deal with pain that you couldn't even fathom. But all the blessings people be praying for, I didn't have them. I'm not from this place. Maybe heaven, maybe Saturn. They sleep on me, I wake them up, they love me. That's the pattern. Who cares if you die rich, if you ain't dynamic? God really got my back, y'all. Why I panic? Y'all, I'm gonna get straight to the point. The essential function of rap is to teach. When you teach someone, you are informing them. You are educating them in a way that is building community. Now, when people think about why they listen to hip hop music, they may disagree and they may say, no, rap is primarily revolved around entertaining people, first and foremost. But entertainment is something that comes about when you add these other layers, when you add a beat, when you add an industry that incentivizes you for rapping about certain topics. When you add these other layers, oftentimes rap becomes something that people can use for a source of entertainment. But the essential function of rap is to teach.
Sorry to interrupt.
What's up, brother?
They're saying some crazy stuff on
And
the
what you got?
We're not gonna.
Huh?
Somebody in the chat is saying some crazy stuff.
Oh, okay. Once again, y'all, I'm not even surprised because this whole gathering is meant to build community. This is obviously something positive. And I had a feeling that, hey, whenever you're trying to do something positive in life, what happens? The enemy definitely tries to come through and say, I want to disband that, I want to break that up somehow. But that teaches us about a concept we just spoke about called grit. Grit is the ability to keep going even when things may not be convenient, may not even be in your favor. So if it's okay with y'all, we're gonna keep going. And if they, Also, I do this, I really live this, so I don't need a slideshow. That's more or less for y'all to have a visual. But if we gotta turn that off, that's totally fine. Yeah, totally fine. Let's cut that off. Let's put that big, beautiful picture of me back up on. Let's do that, and then we'll be all good. Yeah. We'll be all good. And yeah, we can roll like that. So, with that being said, I want to talk about rap as being a teacher. First of all, for some who may have just heard my bio for the first time, you may not know that when I graduated from college, I went to LSU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I chose to become a middle school teacher. So I'm down there and I'm teaching math as well as life skills, right? And while I'm teaching, I'm realizing that my students are learning the lyrics to their favorite rap songs way quicker than they are learning the long division and the multiplying of decimals and fractions that I'm trying to teach them, right? So I was like, wow, I see the impact that rap music has on their lives. But we have to think about the moral compass of rap, right? I understand that a lot of rappers, unfortunately, do not view themselves as teachers. But rap inherently teaches. Those bars that I just spit for you allowed you to learn something about me that you didn't know prior to that. Rappers are teachers. But when you think about rappers as being teachers, you have to ask yourself, well, just like in the classroom, what are they teaching? And how are they choosing to teach? If you're a teacher and you got a class full of impressionable students and you tell them that 6 times 6 is 43, and if they don't know any better, they're gonna be like, well, I just learned something. My teacher, Mr. Augustine, just taught me that 6 times 6 is 43. And they're gonna go back home and they can tell their little brothers and little sisters, guess what I learned today, y'all? 6 times 6 is 43. Oh, what if you make it sound good? It's not only just something that's being taught, but it's something that has a rhythm to it. 6 times 6 is 43. 6 times 6 is 43. You wish you could be like me, because 6 times 6 is 43, right? Now it's really stuck in your head. Some of y'all gonna be saying that tonight. Trust me, right? This is what music does. But what if inherently, underneath the rhythm, underneath the beat that you might hear, underneath the catchiness, what if it's like, yo, what you're teaching is cap. It's not a fact. You know what I mean? That, like, it's just not true. And even if it is something that you might say, well, this is my truth, you have to ask yourself, is it healthy that you're teaching this, right? I realized this when I was in the classroom, that my students were being so taught by hip-hop music, by rap music, that we needed more rappers to view themselves as teachers. And what I realized was I had to be the change that I wanted to see. So I quit teaching. I didn't quit in the middle of the school year when I wanted to. I didn't even quit after 1 year. After 2 years of being a teacher, I left the classroom and I quit teaching in the classroom to teach outside of the classroom. And that required me to transform from Mr. Augustine to D-1. As D-1, I wanted to have the heart of a teacher, but the platform of a rapper. Because I knew that with that platform, I would have the ability to speak truth to power in a way that would have people who listen say like, wow, I'll never forget this truth that I was just exposed to. Because that's one thing, when you choose to truly walk in your specific gifts and use your specific calling that was designed for you to do good in this world, people can never forget what you exposed them to. So with that being said, I started out on this journey of becoming D-1. If you're from New Orleans, about a decade, a little more than that ago, you remember D-1. D-1 was the dude at every open mic. D-1 was the dude handing out mixtapes to everybody. You know, putting flyers on cars. So when you come out the club, you got a D-1 flyer on your car. Like, people know me as the dude who Drake is in town performing. D-1 is posting up outside of Drake's concert with a card table and with his mixtapes. So y'all might not know who I am, but all of y'all gotta leave out this one door. And when y'all leave, or y'all gonna know who D-1 is. That was me. And that was me knowing that I had given up a stable salary, healthcare benefits, all the things that came along with making my grandma proud and being able to brag and tell her friends, oh yeah, y'all, little David, he's teaching now, he's educating students. And I gave all that up to where now when she talked to her friends on the phone, and they're like, so what's David doing? Oh, he's a rapper. That hits different, you know? Especially when you're a struggle rapper like I was at the time. But I knew I had a heart to where I just wanted to teach. And I knew that all of these artists and the vast platform that they had, I knew that they were teaching. They taught me. I learned so much from the rap music that I listened to growing up. And I was like, do they just not know how influential they are? Or maybe they know how influential they are, but they just don't care. And so one of the songs that Dana mentioned that I put out in my career was called J50 and Weezy. Y'all, this song was when I was a local rapper in New Orleans, nobody knew me. And this song called out 3 of the giants in the industry, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, and Lil Wayne. And with that being said, I called them out because I felt like these were 3 of the artists who knew the power that they held with their platform. And I just felt like, oh, they're choosing to perpetuate ignorance. They're choosing to put a negative message out there. And they know the implications of their words, but they just are choosing to continue to lead people in that direction because that's going to make them popular and continue to get them paid. So what did I do? I called them out. Nobody knew who I was. That could have been career suicide before I even had a career. And I put this song out and I put the music video out. The night before the music video dropped, I had never been so scared in my life. I was like, yo, are these dudes gonna send like their goons after me? Like, are people gonna see this video and am I gonna get blackballed from the industry? Because they're all powerful brothers who have sold way more records than I have. So I'm like, what's gonna happen? But I had to remember my why. And my why was that I'm only in this game and only in this industry to be a teacher. Now, when we think about hip hop as a teacher, how many of y'all ever heard of Hip Hop Harry? Anybody ever heard of Hip Hop Harry? Yeah, like a big mascot that makes rap songs that's meant to educate elementary school students. How many of y'all ever heard of Kids Bop? Oh, y'all know about that. Okay, right. Y'all know these things become very catchy, and these are educational tools that are used to reach a specific audience. Now, Kids Bop may be teaching one message, but how many of y'all ever heard of Ghetto D by Master P? As a 10 or 11-year-old growing up in New Orleans, it's my favorite rapper at the time. I watched him perform at the Jazz Fest when I was in elementary school. Ironically, I'm performing at the Jazz Fest in 9 days. Yeah, and I first saw him on stage performing at the Jazz Fest, and I was like, man, he just looks so cool up there, so much swag, so much confidence, and all these people know the words to his music. So I go home and I look up his music. When I look it up, the first song on his album is called Ghetto D. This song, when I press play, this tells you specifically how to make crack cocaine. It gives you instructions. It's an instruction manual on how to make this and also how to sell this. And I'm like, wow, I just learned something today. It's a little different than Kids Bop, you heard me? Or Hip Hop Harry, but I just learned something. And now I think about myself as a hip hop artist and what I do to use hip hop as a teaching tool. When I have people like the American Heart Association, and I wish I could show y'all, but YouTube is your friend, so you could go and you can see it on your own time. The American Heart Association, when they hit me up and they're like, Dee-1, man, we have an epidemic. We need more people, especially young people, to understand the warning signs when it comes to them having a stroke. So there's an acronym called FAST. If your face starts drooping, F. If your arms are weak, A. If your speech is slurred, S. Then T, it's time to call 911. D, do you think that you can make this acronym or this message into a song that can teach people what the warning signs are when it comes to stroke? Absolutely, y'all, no problem. So then the American Heart Association says, cool, well, D, you have the skills and we have the platform. So if we combine your skills with our platform, we can do some good in this world. So that's something that I did. When ESPN calls me and says, we're launching a new platform that centers around race, culture, and sports. It's called The Undefeated. And we want to highlight the achievements of black athletes, but also people who have taken black culture to another level in this world, D. But we need it to just sound cool. We need that flavor on it that you as a hip hop artist can help to bring to the table, right? When that happens and ESPN calls me, I'm able to deliver. And you go on YouTube, you'll see the collaboration I did with ESPN. I've been a part of receiving messages from hip hop and being taught how to do things like sell dope and cook crack, all the way to making music that's teaching people how to know the warning signs when it comes to stroke, or how to appreciate some of our forefathers who paved the way for us in sports, black people, right? This is something that I've dedicated my life work to, is using hip hop as a teaching tool. Hip hop has taken me from the hoods of New Orleans all the way to Harvard University. As part of my fellowship at Harvard, I just created an album called From the Hood to Harvard, ironically. And what I did was I combined my experience as a teacher, and I used social emotional learning, SEL learning, and the 5 core competencies in order to create the music that would go on this album. So that this music wasn't just something that randomly came to me, that I got inspired by hearing a beat, but this music was intended to be something that when someone hears it, it has a social, emotional impact on them. And then when you hear the entire album, it's something that will impact them in a way that makes them feel more whole as a human being, more seen as an individual, and more secure in their identity and their unique journey in life. This album will come out in June, right? I was just able to create and author my first book. It's a children's book. It's actually an anti-bullying hip-hop book that will be coming out in June as well, right? Thank you. You can clap for that. This is just me choosing intentionally to use hip-hop in order to teach. Whether or not we admit it, we are all involved in the culture of hip-hop in some way, shape, or form. You're either a commissioner, you're a creator, or you're a consumer. And for a lot of people in this room, you fulfill more than one of those roles. When the American Heart Association hits me up and they pay me to make a song about the warning signs when it comes to stroke, they're commissioners. When RCA Records signs me to a record deal a few years back, and they give me a big advance, at the time it was the biggest check I had ever seen in my life, and they paid me to sign a 5-album deal with them, they're the commissioners. As a commissioner, as Tufts University, and saying we want Dee-1 to come in here and speak about rap as a force for education, community, and change, they're commissioners. The thing you have to understand as a commissioner is that you're a big dog. You have a lot of power. And people who play the role of commissioners in life have to ask themselves, what am I incentivizing creators to want to create? Many artists who are creators, they will simply go where the money is. Literally. Oh, you about to pay me to rap about what? To rap about killing somebody? Bet. I never even shot a gun in my life, but you finna pay me to rap about this? Bet. I'm about to be the biggest murderer you'd have never seen on this song that I'm about to make. That's how a lot of artists create. They say, hey, wherever the money is, that's where my creativity is gonna skew in that direction. As a creator though, we have to think about what's our moral compass when we create. Whether you're creating rap music, whether you're creating visual art, what is your moral compass? Because if you're a creator, and if you understand that you're also a teacher, you have to ask yourself, what impact is my creation gonna have on people? Tupac Shakur got killed in what year? 1996. That was what? How many years ago? 27 years ago? How many of y'all listened to any Tupac music in the past year? Raise your hand. Quite a few people. Wow. Okay. You bumping Pac. I would have been real shocked if you raised your hand. I would have been like, whoa, okay. Hey, Tupac's music has lived longer than his body has. When Dee-1 is no longer here, people still gonna be bumping my music. We have to think about the implications of our creations. Your music is timeless as a hip hop artist. As soon as you record it and you put it out there for consumption, it becomes timeless. Even if they say, oh, we're gonna take it off streaming platforms. Guess what? That first time that I heard Master P rapping about being the ice cream man and rapping about selling drugs to his community, even if that song never played again, I can't get it out of my head. Because that's the power of hip hop. That's the power of rap. That's the power of something you get taught. 6 times 6 is 43. 6 times 6 is 43. Yeah. Even once you realize that 6 times 6 isn't 43, that's still in your head. So it's our job when we say, well, I want to be the person to rap about something positive. I want to be the person to rap. My message is be real, be righteous, be relevant. It's important that you also don't be corny. Just because you're saying, I'm doing something positive, I'm doing something that the world needs more of, it's very important to make sure that your stuff is as catchy as 6 times 6 is 43. 6 times 6 is 43. If you're gonna rap the real stuff, you gotta make sure that it's as appealing as the stuff that may be miseducating people. We got commissioners, We got creators, and we have consumers. I feel like I'm looking at a lot of consumers. I'm a consumer of hip hop myself. As a consumer, you have to know and understand the power that your consumption habits have in this whole ecosystem of what gets created and what gets commissioned. As a consumer, you have to ask yourself, once I know that 6 times 6 is not 43, no matter how catchy it sounds, do I want to continue to consume stuff that I know is factually incorrect and is unhealthy for me because I'm miseducating myself? That's a very hard decision to make as a consumer. When it's like, oh, it sounds so good. How many of y'all ever wanted to not listen to something before, but it was so catchy that you was just like, yo, I just gotta listen to it. Yeah. I have a theory, y'all. That theory came along with a song and a music video that I put out. It's called People Don't Want That Real. I said, people don't want that real, they just say that they do. Now people don't want that real, and I'm one of them too. I'm so easily entertained by ratchet activity, violent negative imagery always seem to interest me. I tell myself, no more music glorifying evil, selling drugs, womanizing, killing our people. Then I hear a song with a tight beat and can't deny it. The hook is catchy, so I subconsciously memorize it. Next thing you know, I'm reciting all the lyrics. And my day don't feel complete unless I hear it. Inviting darkness in my spirit, this can't be light. I'm craving what I'm supposed to be fighting, this can't be right. I must be blind to the effects, this can't be sight. Death is in the power of the tongue, and this can't be life. Be careful what you get involved with, because you can't support a cause, but then hate the effects that it causes. People don't want that real.